everyone, today I'll be reviewing this documentary just dropped on Netflix called Pamela, a love story. This documentary series dropped on today. In this documentary, it is from Pamela Anderson. So if you don't know, so recently Hulu made a show on things called Tom and Pam. This show came out on Hulu. After that series came out, I think Pamela Anderson, she was really upset with that show. So I have seen that show, couple of episodes. I thought that show was it was quite interesting. After all, it was starring Sebastian Stan and Lily James, but that show was too sexual for my taste. So after a couple of episodes, I quit watching that show. But that show did bring the story about how her sex tape was stolen and all those things. So this documentary series, it's not a series, sorry. So this documentary, it is actually quite well made when you watch it, especially the way it was made. Immediately as the audience, you feel engaged with the story you are watching. So I personally, I don't know anything about Pamela Anderson. All I know, she was in this show, Baywatch, which I never saw. But I know she was back then. She is a very popular name. And I think for her, I guess it is famous about her, you know, how she got her breast done. So that is one of the things she is famously known for, I guess. So this documentary, it starts from her childhood, you see how where she grew up basically, and the way she told the story about her childhood and all the story. I was like, whoa, she had really brave face, I might say. So Pamela Anderson, actually, she's not that old. But I feel really sad saying this. She is only 55 years old. And she looks really old in this documentary starts with. I'm like, oh my God, she got old really quickly. You know, she got a lot of stuff done. So explain that means sense. But of course, this documentary, as I was saying, it is actually quite engaging, especially for people who doesn't know anything about her, which is I am one of them. I found it very interesting as I never knew about her. So she told you where she was from. She's from Canada, so that is very interesting. Also, she's from a very beautiful place in Canada, in Vancouver Island. So that is also very interesting, where she grew up. And she's actually living there right now with her mom. And there is some voiceover part in this documentary. It's very gentle way she did the voiceover. Somehow end of this documentary, I don't know, I was really feeling sorry for her, because when you hear her story about all this thing happened to her, this documentary makes you feel really sorry. You know, end of this documentary, like toward the end, her sons, actually has two sons, and I thought she was a really good mom, seems like, in this documentary. And I guess she tried her best to be a good mom. And end of this documentary, her sons tells her, like, you know, why aren't you doing something about it? Because other people are making money off your stuff, and you should be doing that for yourself. Because end of this documentary, we learned that she is not that rich, I guess, although she's really famous, isn't she? Or should I say, she had a lot of paparazzi following her. Oof, it's really very sad life when you see this reality stuff, because all these paparazzi is following you day and night. And, you know, after some time, you know, you went through this terrible thing, like after miscarriage or anything, this paparazzis are there, they're following you. Of course, you're human, you know, you lash out at them. Really, it's really sad how this paparazzi work. But anyway, yeah, this documentary, I don't know, the way it was done is definitely very tasteful, and it is very, like, you really feel sad for her. Like, as I was saying, she doesn't have a lot of money, and yet she was so famous, and people are following her day and night. I don't know. I was like, okay, Netflix probably gave her some good amount of money for this documentary. And for once, I was like, okay, it's a good thing this documentary happened on Netflix. So I actually think it's actually well-made documentary. It's worth checking out if you like Pamela Anderson, or you want to know more about her, or, like, you know, most people know her anyway. That being said, okay, so now I have to say something like I don't know. This is my just personal thing I'm saying here. Nothing to do with documentary. It was really amazing for me watching her, that she is like, as a person, she's really dumb. How do I say this? She's really proud for being dumb. You know what I mean? Like she was, like she's placed this blonde dumb person for whole her life. Although she isn't really a blonde, she like, you know, she colored her hair. But the way she portrayed, or she is like that, while I'm watching it, I was like really amazed by that. I was like, oh man, she is like a really dumb person. And the way she was telling her backstory sounds like she was just telling people how, well, she had a kind of like a, well, I don't know all the story she told us is true or false. Sounds like she was kind of like, she had a rough childhood, you know. And the way she was saying, you think, oh, she's white trash, you know what I mean? Without sound offending or anything. That is what I was thinking. These are just my personal opinion. Overall, this documentary, it was really good, and I had good time watching it, and it was really amazing listening to her. I was like, she owned that, you know, the way she was talking. I was like, oh, that is rare you see these days. And that was my thought on this. Let me know in the comment, what do you think about this documentary? If you enjoyed about this review, don't forget to share my other reviews on other stuff. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. Until I see you next time, please take care.